Hi, I'm Mallory. The thing about family is they're supposed to have your back, no matter what. At least, that's what I always believed until last November when my own mother decided I wasn't worthy of a place at her Thanksgiving table. You look stressed, my brother Eric said, sliding into the booth across from me at our regular coffee spot. Mom driving you crazy again? I stirred my latte, watching the caramel swirl. She canceled our lunch, third time this month. She's probably just busy with the holiday planning. You know how she gets? That's what she always says, but I saw her Instagram. She was having lunch with Aunt Vivian at the exact time we were supposed to meet. Eric shifted uncomfortably. Maybe something came up last minute? Something always comes up when it's me, I said, trying to keep the hurt from my voice. But hey, at least we're all getting together for Thanksgiving, right? That'll be nice. The way Eric suddenly became fascinated with his coffee cup sent warning bells ringing. Eric, we are all getting together for Thanksgiving, right? Look, Mal, I didn't want to be the one to tell you this. Tell me what? The pit in my stomach grew. Mom's hosting dinner at Riverside Restaurant this year. She's invited the whole family. And? And she said you told her you were busy, that you had other plans. I nearly choked. I never said that. I haven't even spoken to her in 2 weeks. That's what she told everyone, Eric said, fidgeting with his napkin. She showed us texts from your number saying you couldn't make it. She what? Let me see those texts. Eric pulled out his phone and showed me screenshots our mother had sent to the family group chat, a group I'd mysteriously been removed from last month. These aren't from me, I said, hands shaking. She faked these. Why would Mom do that? I don't know, Eric. Why don't you ask her why she's been systematically pushing me out of family events for the past year? Come on, Mal, that's a little dramatic. Is it? Where was I in the family photos from Uncle Rob's birthday? Or Cousin Zoe's graduation party? You were invited to those. No, I wasn't. I found out about them on Facebook after the fact. My phone buzzed. It was my friend Jenna. Just saw your mom's Thanksgiving post. What's this about you spending the holiday with your boyfriend's family instead? Since when do you have a boyfriend? I showed Eric the message, watching his face fall as realization dawned. I'm so sorry, Mal. I had no idea. It's not your fault, I said, though part of me wanted to blame him too. But now you know why I'm stressed. What are you going to do? I stared at the fake text messages again, a plan already forming. I think it's time I crashed a Thanksgiving dinner. So let me get this straight, Jenna said as we sat in her apartment later that evening. Your mom has been systematically cutting you out of family events, and now she's straight up telling everyone you don't want to come to Thanksgiving, while simultaneously pretending to me that there is no Thanksgiving dinner, I confirmed. She told me last week she was too exhausted to host this year, and everyone was doing their own thing. That's psychotic. Tell me about it. I flopped back on her couch. The worst part is no one questioned it. They all just accepted that I wouldn't want to be there. Have you tried talking to your dad about this? Dad's been completely under her thumb since the heart scare last year. He goes along with whatever keeps the peace. The doorbell rang, and Jenna went to answer it. Eric stepped in, looking apologetic. I talked to Aunt Vivian, he said without preamble. She had no idea you weren't invited. Mom told her you were spending Thanksgiving with friends in Chicago. I haven't been to Chicago in 3 years. I know that now. Eric sat down heavily. Vivian started asking questions, and Mal, Mom's been telling people you've been saying horrible things about the family. What kinds of things? That you think they're all beneath you since you got promoted. That you called Grandma a burden. That you said Dad's health problems were just attention-seeking. My jaw dropped. I would never say any of that. Vivian didn't believe it either, Eric said. That's why she started digging. Apparently, Mom's been doing this for months, telling different family members different stories about why you're distancing yourself from everyone. But I'm not distancing myself. She's the one pushing me away. Jenna, who had been uncharacteristically quiet, suddenly perked up. Wait a minute. This Thanksgiving dinner, it's at Riverside Restaurant, right? My cousin Daniel is the assistant manager there. Eric nodded. Yeah, Mom made a big deal about having to book months in advance. Jenna was already dialing. Daniel, hey, it's me. Quick question. Who booked the Reynolds Thanksgiving dinner at your restaurant next week? She put the phone on speaker. Let me check. We could hear typing in the background. Looks like it was booked just 3 weeks ago by a Mallory Reynolds. Paid the deposit with a visa ending in 4,832. I gasped. That's not my card number. She used your name to book it? Eric looked horrified. After Jenna hung up, she turned to me. You realize what this means, right? She's impersonating you. But why? What does she gain from cutting me out and blaming me for it? Eric shifted uncomfortably. I think I might know. Remember how Grandma changed her will last year? She left that vacation property specifically to you because you were the only one who visited her weekly. Suddenly, it all made horrible sense. Mom wanted that property, I whispered. She's trying to turn the family against me so Grandma will change her will again. So what are we going to do about it? Jenna asked, a mischievous glint in her eye. I think, I said slowly, it's time to make a reservation of my own. Thanksgiving Day arrived cold and clear. I stood outside Riverside Restaurant, gathering my courage while Jenna gave me a final pep talk. Remember, Daniel has the security footage from when your mom came in to pay the deposit, she said. We've got her dead to rights. I just can't believe she'd go this far, I said, my hands trembling slightly. What kind of mother does this to her own daughter? The kind who's about to get exactly what she deserves. Jenna squeezed my arm. I'll be at the bar if you need backup. I took a deep breath and walked in. Through the glass partition, I could see my entire family, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, all gathered at the long table my mother had reserved in my name. My father sat at one end, looking frail but happy, while my mother held court at the other end. Daniel met me at the hostess stand. Everything's ready, Mallory, just like we discussed. Thanks, Daniel. Is there a microphone for the toast? Already set up. He handed me a small remote. This will activate it when you're ready. I nodded and walked into the private dining room. The conversation stopped abruptly as everyone turned to look at me. Mallory? My grandmother was the first to speak, confusion evident in her voice. I thought you were in Chicago. Surprise, I said, forcing a smile. I wouldn't miss family Thanksgiving for the world. My mother's face had gone chalk white. What are you doing here? She hissed. I was invited, I replied. Or rather, I invited everyone, apparently. Eric stood up. Mal's right, Mom. The reservation was made in her name. That's ridiculous, my mother scoffed, but I could see the panic in her eyes. I made this reservation months ago. Daniel stepped forward. Actually, Mrs. Reynolds, our records show the reservation was made 3 weeks ago by Mallory Reynolds. There must be some mistake. No mistake, Daniel continued. We have the security footage of you coming in to place the deposit, claiming to be Mallory Reynolds. The room went deadly silent. You impersonated me? I asked, my voice cracking. Don't be absurd, my mother said, looking around at the family. She's making this up for attention. She's always been jealous of our family bond. Our family bond? I laughed incredulously. The one you've been systematically destroying by telling lies about me to everyone? What lies? My father asked, looking confused. Go ahead, Mom, I challenged. Tell them how you've been telling different people different stories about why I'm not at family events. Events I'm never actually invited to. That's not true, she snapped. Aunt Vivian stood up. Actually, Elaine, you told me Mallory was in Chicago today. You told Robert she was with a boyfriend's family. Which is it? I was confused. And what about telling Grandma that I called her a burden? I pressed. Or telling Dad that I said his heart condition was fake? My father's face fell. Elaine, did you say that? Of course not. She's lying. My mother's voice rose. You're all going to believe her over me? After everything I've done for this family? I pressed the remote, activating the microphone. Actually, I have proof. On the restaurant's sound system, a recording began to play. My mother's voice, crystal clear. No, the reservation is under Mallory Reynolds. That's me. My daughter won't be joining us for Thanksgiving. She doesn't care about family obligations anymore. As the recording continued, detailing all the horrible things I had supposedly said about various family members, my mother's face contorted with rage. "You set me up!" she screamed, lunging toward me. "You ungrateful little—" Eric caught her arm. "Mom, stop it! This is all your fault!" she shouted at me, drawing stares from other diners. "If you had just stayed away like you were supposed to. Like I was supposed to?" I repeated. "So you admit you've been keeping me away on purpose? You got everything handed to you. The promotion, Grandma's property. It's not fair." The entire restaurant had gone silent, everyone watching the scene unfold. "Elaine," my grandmother said quietly, "I think you should leave." My mother looked around the table, seemingly stunned that no one was coming to her defense. "You can't be serious. This is my Thanksgiving dinner." "Actually," Daniel interjected, "according to our records, it's Mallory's." "This is absurd." My mother's voice rose even higher. "Robert, tell them. Tell them I wouldn't do this." My Uncle Robert cleared his throat. "The evidence seems pretty clear, Elaine. I'd like to hear your explanation for why you told me Mallory was with a boyfriend when you told Vivian she was in Chicago. And why you showed us fake text messages," Eric added. My mother's eyes darted around the table, calculating. "Fine," she finally said. "You all want to believe the worst of me? Go ahead. But don't come crawling back when she shows her true colors." "The only colors being shown today are yours, Mom," I said evenly. "And they're not pretty." With one last furious glare, my mother grabbed her purse and stormed out. The aftermath of my mother's meltdown was surprisingly quiet. The restaurant manager had escorted her out, informing her that she was no longer welcome at the establishment after threatening me. The rest of us had eaten Thanksgiving dinner in a strange, subdued atmosphere, with family members approaching me one by one to apologize for believing my mother's lies. "I should have known something was wrong," my father said when we were alone. "You've never been the type to skip family events or say hurtful things. I didn't want to believe your mother could do something like this." "It's okay, Dad," I said, though it wasn't, not really. "She's very convincing." "I've called a lawyer," he said quietly. "I'm filing for separation after the holidays." That shocked me more than anything else. "Dad, you don't have to." "Yes, I do. What she did to you, that's unforgivable. And who knows what else she's done that we haven't discovered yet." Aunt Vivian joined us, squeezing my hand. "Sweetie, I'm so sorry I didn't see through her stories. I should have called you directly instead of just believing her." "It's not your fault," I assured her. "She was very deliberate about isolating me." "That's what makes it so disturbing," Grandma added, settling into the chair beside me. "The calculation of it all. To think she was trying to manipulate me into changing my will." "Are you sure that was her motive?" Dad asked. "What else could it be?" I said. "The timing lines up perfectly with Grandma's decision about the lake house." "Your mother always did have a strange sense of entitlement," Grandma said thoughtfully. "Even as a child, she couldn't stand it if someone else got something she wanted." A week later, I was having coffee with Eric and Jenna when my mother walked in. She spotted us and marched over to our table. "Well, I hope you're happy," she said without preamble. "You've turned the entire family against me." "You did that yourself, Mom," I replied evenly. "I want to talk to you. Alone." She glared at Eric and Jenna. "Anything you have to say, you can say in front of them." She sat down with a huff. "Fine, I've come to apologize." I raised an eyebrow but said nothing. "What I did was wrong," she continued, the words clearly difficult for her. "I was jealous and resentful. But we're family, Mallory. We need to move past this. Move past you systematically isolating me from my own family, spreading lies about me, impersonating me." "I said I was sorry." "No, you said you came to apologize. There's a difference." "What more do you want from me?" she demanded. "Nothing," I said simply, I don't want anything from you. Don't be ridiculous. You can't just cut me out of your life. I'm your mother. You cut me out first, I reminded her. And yes, I can. Dad's lawyer has already filed a restraining order on my behalf, based on your threats at the restaurant. You're not supposed to be talking to me at all. Her face hardened. So that's how it's going to be? After everything I've done for you? This isn't about what you've done for me. It's about what you did to me. You'll regret this, she said, standing up. Family is everything, Mallory. You'll see. I agree, I said. Family is everything, which is why I'm protecting the family I have left from you. After she stormed out, Jenna let out a low whistle. That was intense. Are you okay? Eric asked. Surprisingly, yes. And I was. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. You know, she never actually said she was sorry, just that she came to apologize. Classic mom, Eric snorted. Always about the appearance, never the substance. Grandma called this morning, I told them. She's added a clause to her will that Mom can't contest, or she loses her share entirely. Smart woman, Jenna said approvingly. She also invited us all to Christmas at her place, I added, and made it very clear who's not invited. What about Dad? Eric asked. How's he holding up with all this? Better than I expected, I said. He said he feels like he's finally seeing clearly for the first time in years. He's staying with Uncle Robert for now. It's strange, Eric mused. All these years, I thought I was the only one who saw through Mom's manipulations. I just never realized how far she was willing to go. That's how manipulation works, Jenna said. She kept everyone isolated in their own little bubbles of lies. Not anymore, I replied, feeling a sense of peace wash over me. The truth is out, and she can't take that back. Eric raised his coffee cup. To family, the real kind. As we clinked our cups together, I realized something important. Sometimes the family you choose, the people who stand by you when it matters, are more important than the family you're born into. And sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even, it's about moving forward with the people who truly care about you. Have you ever had to cut someone toxic out of your life, even when that someone was family? Share your story in the comments below.